Well, hello everyone. It's Joni here at Joni's Journals, and I've come along today to share with you a quick little pocket project that I saw on Crafty by Toni. She first saw it on TikTok by someone named Rachel from Sweet Bee Designs. And Rachel also has a YouTube, and I will link her YouTube in the description box below. I'm not really on TikTok. My daughter sends me TikToks. So I don't even know if I could share the TikTok. I'd have to find it, but I will link her YouTube in the description box below. So what I've done is I've taken some 8x8s. You can use 8x8. You can use 6x6. I guess you could also use 10x10 if you wanted, although I guess 10x10 might be a little bit too large for that. And what you do is you take your 8x8, let's use that as the example, and you score it at 1 inch less than half of the size of your paper. So for instance, this is an 8x8. Half of an 8x8 would be 4. You would score it at 3, and you fold it over and you create your little pocket here, and you cut it in such a way that you also create a little pocket here, where I've stuck in a little tag that is just about 2 inches by 4.5 inches in this case. Okay, and what I've done in this one is I have scored this one, instead of scoring it at 3, I scored it at 3.5, which leaves you with a little bit less on the side, but it gives you a bigger pocket. And you'll see how we end up with these little pieces that we put inside our little tuck here. So here's another one that was an 8x8 scored at 3, and we have this pocket here. And what I've done is I've tucked in, quite a while ago, you guys and I made Rolodex cards, and we decorated them, and I still have some of them left over that were undecorated, so I pulled them out, and I have decorated not only the Rolodex cards, but also the front of our little pockets here using Tracy Fox's new random labels kit. So I will link that in the description box below, along with Crafty by Toni's video and also Sweet Bee Designs YouTube channel for you. So yeah, let's get started making one. And I think what we're going to do today is we are going to make this one with the smaller tab, and we're going to score it at 3.5 rather than at 3. Okay, so let's put all of this aside. I'm just going to tuck this back in here. Okay, like so. And we're going to put it aside, and we're going to grab our 8x8 sheet of paper, and I am going to grab my scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can always use a ruler to score your paper with, or measure up and score it with a pen. Now this scoreboard is a little bit smaller than we actually want to use, so I'm going to grab the 12x12 out of here. Let me just turn my little card around and grab my 12x12 because it might be easier for us to work with that one. I'm going to move my little ink stand out of the way, and we're gonna do some scoring. Okay, I have got so much stuff on my desk. I was not prepared to take out my big 12x12 board, but you know what, we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, now like this, you guys can't see what I'm scoring, so I'm gonna turn, whoops, I banged you, sorry about that. I'm gonna turn my scoreboard on a side so that you can see where I'm scoring up on top. And I will get my little ink dauber afterwards. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to score a line this way, and you're going to score a line that way. And then once we start, we're going to cut also. Once we start cutting, we are going to judge which way we want our paper to go, because even though this isn't really directional, it kind of is. And so yeah, we're going to take a look at that once we start to cut. And I am just going to come back in a minute. I got to get my ink dauber. Hang on. Okay, and we are back. Okay, like I said, I put my scoreboard on an angle here, and I'm just going to grab my little score tool. Now, like I said, I'm going to score this one at 3.5 because I want to create a smaller area on the side for this one, like I did on the smaller one that I showed you over here, which is this one, okay? And you'll see what happens. All right, so 8x8 sheet of paper, we're going to score it at 3.5, and we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, gonna grab that again and score it again. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn it 90 degrees, and you're going to score it again at 3.5. Okay, so now you've got a score at 3.5 going this way, and you've got one going that way. I'm going to grab my paper out of here, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard as gently as I can, and I'm going to put that to the side like so. Okay, now I'm going to, the reason I stopped the camera to grab my ink dauber is so that I can make some little marks on here, on these creases, so that you can see better where we're going to be doing our cutting. Okay, and I'm going to ink that, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to bend it on the other score line, and I'm going to ink that one too, just like so, because we're going to cut part of this off. Okay, so this will create our little pocket, which is a little bit, I should say, short and squat. Okay, now I want my paper to be going in this direction because, even like I said, even though it is semi non-directional, I kind of want this part to be in the top. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut off your 3.5-inch piece here, excuse me. Okay, and we're just going to cut this whole section out here, this 3.5 section here. My God, I don't know where my brain is today. I'm trying to explain things so that they make sense. Actually, yeah, we're going to cut along our score line like so. Okay, and we're going to cut this section out right here, and this is going to become our little journal card. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut along this score line here. Okay, like so. I'm trying to be straight doing this. Okay, so now you're left with your little journal card, and you're left with your piece, and you are also left with a little pocket. Okay, so when you have your piece like this, you're going to fold over from the side along your little 3.5-inch score line like so, and I'm just going to grab my bone folder. Okay, and we're going to fold this crease nicely. Okay, and then what you have is you have this little flap here. Okay, and we're going to score that nicely. We're going to fold that and score that nicely too. Okay, and so now you have something that looks like this. Now what I've been doing on mine is I have been folding over a little flap on each of these pockets. Okay, just as an extra little something something. Toni didn't do this on all of hers, but I've done it on all of mine. You can see I have this little flap here. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. I am going to, this time, I am going to grab my smaller scoreboard, and I'm going to decide how much of a flap I want to create. So I'm going to turn it like this. Now you can see my little pocket is 3.5 inches from the top to the bottom. So I think maybe what I'll do is I will score at 1, okay, and we'll add a little 1-inch flap to our pocket, just for a little bit of added interest, like I said before. So we're going to fold our pocket up, and we're going to fold our flap over, and it just adds a little something extra to our little pocket. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to round our corners. I'm going to round this corner up here and this corner here. This corner I'm going to leave straight, and I'm going to leave these two corners straight as well. But adding the little corners, rounding the corners actually is what I meant to say. Just adds, again, that little something something. Okay. So I'm going to round those two higher corners. So now your little piece looks like this. Okay. And I am going to take and I am going to ink around. Even though this is brown, the ink will show up just a bit. So we're going to ink all our edges like this. Okay, we'll ink a little here and along here too. A little in the back, even though, like I said, it's brown, but it just adds a little something extra. Okay, and we'll go along here like so, and we'll just add a little. If you had a darker ink, I guess if I had taken out my scorched timber, it probably would have shown up a little better on this brown, but it shows up nicely on the front here on our little clock pattern and just makes it look a little bit more vintage. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to fold it back, and I'm just going to ink all along here like so, and all along on the bottom as well. I'm not going to have to ink that because that's where I inked so that I could show you where I was cutting. Now we can also decide if we want to make our flap on the right, which we could do this too. That might be kind of interesting considering all of these are left fold flaps. Maybe we'll do that, okay? Maybe we will fold our little flap over and we will have our flap be on the left instead of on the right. And this way we get a little bit more of that cool little pattern showing. So all I did, this is an option, is we had it folded this way and we were folding from the left. And I decided that I wanted to change it and I wanted to fold from the right. So that's an option for you too. If it's something that you feel that you like the way the pattern runs a little bit better on one side of the paper rather than on the other side of the paper, go for it. Decide which side you want to be the front and which side you want to be the back. So here we have the brown, and now we can see our whole pattern along on the back there. Okay? Now, in order to create our pockets, what we're going to do is we're just going to put glue along the top here and glue along the bottom here, and we're going to fold it over and we're going to glue it. So this way we have our little open pocket, and of course my glue is stuck. There we go. So we're just going to put a thin bead of glue along the top and then a thin bead of glue along the bottom, and we are set with that. And we're going to fold it over and we're just going to push it down, okay, like so. And we're going to hold it and push it down again, and we'll just give a little push. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue our flap down. Now on this one, I did leave the flap so that I could use it as a little tuck if I wanted to, okay? And on this one, I glued the little flap down completely. And also, I think, did I glue this one? Let's see. Let's see if we have the little flap. Nope, I glued that one down completely too. I think I glued the skinnier flaps, the thinner flaps rather, down completely, and I left the little bit of a chunkier one as a what do you call it, a little tuck. So maybe we'll do that on here too. But now we need to glue our pocket. So again, we're just going to run a bead of glue along one side like so. Okay, and then we're going to run a bead of glue along the other side like so to create our pocket. Okay, and we're going to flip that up And we're going to push it down gently. We don't want too much of our glue to come oozing out. Okay. And then we will make a little tuck with our flap. So here again, I'm just going to put a little glue down one side and a little bit of glue down the other side. And I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to push this down. And now we have our little tuck. Let me just hold on to that for a second so that it stays stuck down. So now we have our little pocket and we have our little tuck. And I just realized that I didn't create another. Well, actually, this will fit. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I had something to show you to tuck in that pocket as well as all the other ones had something tucked in. And I'm just going to create a little journal card here, and I'm going to round the corners. So now you can see we have the little pocket here. And I'll just take this little piece here just to show you. And you have a little tuck here, okay? But we're going to decorate this a bit, okay? Let's first round our corners on our leftover flap. Now you can see that I did a horrible job cutting this, and it is completely not even close to being straight. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab out my little handy dandy cutting board here. And again, this is something I got off of Amazon. And when I got it, I actually said to myself, why did I buy this? I don't ever foresee myself using it. Well, I use it more often than you would know. Okay, there we go. Now we have a straight edge on all four sides. I just wanted to cut off that messy cutting. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to round the corners on my journal card. Whoops. Like so. Get all four of them. And I'll show you the way, how nicely this is going to fit into our little pocket there. Okay, we have our little pocket that we created. And this piece fits perfectly inside. And I even have some little tabs, which I put over here. And now I can't find them. What did I do with them? Oh, that's where they are. I have a couple of little tabs that I created using some leftover file folder. So what we'll do is maybe we'll put a tab on our little journal card. Let me just go around and ink that. And we can even probably stick a piece of ephemera on this too. So let's just go around and we'll ink this all up. And then we'll ink our little journal card here, and we can have a little tab to pull it out of our pocket. And then I have also cut out some extra of Tracy's random label kit so that we can decorate the outside of our pocket with some of those labels. All right, whoop, I put my little dauber inside of the little bowl that I have my stuff in. So what I'm going to do, I am going to glue this down to here, like so. So I'm just going to put a little glue all over the one side of my tab. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to put a little glue over the other side of my little tab. And I'm just going to lay it down and make sure that it's kind of centered on my journal card, like so. Okay. Let me turn that towards me so I can see that, yeah, it's pretty centered. And I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to glue the whole thing together. So now we have our little journal card to tuck in our pocket. Isn't that cute? I just thought that this was wonderful. I love these little one-sheet wonders. And if you've followed me for a while, you will know that I get a lot of my little one-sheet wonders from Julia at Camellia Crafts. Julie at Camellia Crafts, I should say. Julia is my daughter. Julie is Camellia Crafts. So let's just ink this up too. And we can tuck our little extra tag into our pocket. We could tuck it this way or with the brown showing. It doesn't really matter. And let me grab out some of Tracy's little labels. I have them all set and ready to go. This is actually, I believe, a Tim Holtz piece, so we may use that too. Let's grab out our little labels and see which ones we like that we can use. And maybe we'll use the World's Fair. I think the green goes nice against the brown. And perhaps this little one here, I have no idea what it says. Paris something. And maybe we'll put this one down first, and we'll make it so that our little World's Fair tag label will go over here. And let's see, do we have anything little that maybe we can put on there as well? What about book and job printing? Do we like the way that looks? Yeah, no, I don't think I like that. I think we're going to stick with those two pieces. Maybe we'll put this, oh, we could tuck this way. No, I think we're just going to put down these two little pieces like so in the corner there. Okay, so let's put some glue on the back of this one. Let's see if that little book and job printing will fit on our little tab on our journal card. Let's put that down and make sure that's straight. I really do like this one for the World's Fair because I actually did go to the World's Fair when I was little, and I know I'm dating myself, but it was when I lived in New York. I was a little girl. I really was little. I think I was maybe, oh gosh, maybe 3 or 4 when my parents took me to the World's Fair. So there we have those there, and we'll just take this piece of Tim Holtz. I had actually been using my Tim Holtz ephemera for something else last night, and I knocked a bunch of the pieces onto the floor. And I quick grabbed them up this morning before my dog ate them. He did manage to get one of the pieces of ephemera, and he came walking out of the room with it in his mouth, and then I found another piece that was chewed up too on the floor. So we have those cute little things there. I kind of feel like we're missing something here. Let's just see in the Tim Holtz if I have anything. Well, I have this, but it's a little large. How about, oh, this is cute. We can use, whoops, and I just lost it in the cup. Nope, here it is. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, we have this tiny little piece that says parcel post. I bet you we could tuck that right about there. How about that? We'll overlap the little parcel post with this. I think that's kind of cool. Let's just grab it and get a little ink on it so we can make it look a little bit more vintage than it already does. And we'll tuck this little piece right on there. It's going to take a little thin little line of glue. And there we go. So we have those. I like that there. That's kind of cute. And so there we go. We have that all decorated up. And let's see, did we have another? I wonder if this little cute little piece would fit on here. Well, it's kind of big, but I bet you we could stick it on there. Let's see, is there anything small in here? Oh, yes, there is. I'm going to take, these are all, like I said, from Tracy's new kit, random labels. I think I'm going to tuck that on there, like so. And maybe we'll take this and we'll stick it on there like that. And then we have our little tab decorated as well. Let's see, is there anything else we can put on there? I have another tiny little one, but I don't think that will look right. Okay, I think we're going to do that. We're going to put this little piece over here like so. We're going to tuck that little piece up in here like so. Okay. See if we can kind of straighten it out. Okay, and then maybe we'll put the book and job printing. I think I like it like that. I wonder if I have another little anything in here that maybe I can stick on there. No, I don't really see anything else. I think we'll do that. we're just going to put these two pieces like so on there. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little glue along the top of this label so that it kind of sticks down to the tab like that. Oh, I think we'll bring it down a little further. So now we have that decorated. And maybe we'll just give it a little bit more ink. And I will look and see if I can find anything. Tim Holtz has a lot of those little round labels, and I might be able to find something that I can stick on there. But there's our little pocket, all set and done. So there you go. That was pretty simple, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. And like I said, I'm sticking my little thing in here. I saw this on Crafty by Toni. See, these two are the same size, but they're just folded two different ways. Okay, and these are the ones that I made. And instead of scoring at 3.5, I scored these at 3. So when you make your score to make your pocket a little bit bigger, it shortens up your tag because you are bringing it up an extra 1/2 inch. So yeah, I hope you understand what I'm saying. We're scored at 3 and we're scored at 3.5. So we're also cutting 3.5 off the bottom, where here we only cut off 3. And you can see that I rounded both of my corners on these, on this one and this one, and I rounded both of those corners. And I rounded these corners too. But just to give you an idea of what they look like, this is with only these two corners rounded and these left straight. And again, that's what we did on this one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. And I am going to send you lots of love and big hugs and ask you please to remember to like, subscribe, and comment, because it really does help the channel. And we are inching slowly, chug, chug, chug along to 1,500 subscribers. And when we do that, I have that giveaway of the woodware stamp set, along with an Simon Says stamp ink pad, because I ordered the same color twice, and so instead of returning it, I would rather share it with my friends. Okay, guys? Lots of love, big hugs, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you soon. Take care for now, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now. Take care.